This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. So glad you could join us for today's show. Today is Friday, August 11th, 2023, and we're so glad you can join us for this episode. In today's show, I'm going to be speaking with the co-owners of the 2023 Iowa State Fair Big Boar. SasQuatch is the name of the boar, and we will be joined by Wilbur Kehrli for that conversation coming up. Also going to have a check of the ag weather outlook. But first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined now by Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net for our closing market analysis. Curt, what did we see take place today in that WASDE report?
Well, a little bit of surprise as far as the yield coming at the lower end of expectations. Going home there earlier in the week and last week, some of these commercials had some higher yield projections, but corn yield 175.1. The average trade guess is 175.5, so at the lower end of the trade. What happened is that the computers read that and the market reacted positive there for about 3 seconds. Corn traded as much as 10 higher. On the yield, those in Iowa there, they put your yield at 203 bushels per acre versus 200. Illinois is about 201 versus 214. The other spot was Nebraska. It was up 184 versus 165. Minnesota was down to 183 versus 195. And of course, Texas, they get the big up. Last year, they had some weather problems, 95 bushels per acre, and it came in at 133. So they saw the biggest benefit through the range throughout the growing season. The other part was, if you back up to last year's, they lowered the demand by 55 million bushels on exports and, total use, domestic use too, and that created an extra 55 million bushels. But they also slashed or cut back on the domestic demand, even though we had a lower production number. But the bottom line on corn, 2.2 billion bushel carryout, which is ample, but it's much tighter than it was projected to be. On the soybean side of the ledger there, the average yield was 50.9. They came up with. The average trade guess was 51.3. And beans traded about 20 cents higher right out of the chute once the computers read that production number. And as that got soaked in, they kind of looked at the rest of the balance sheet and kind of backed up. But on the soybean side of it, Iowa bean yields 58 versus 58.5 last year. Illinois 62 versus 63. Minnesota 49 versus 50. Nebraska 58 versus 49. So we still have quite a bit of the growing season left on the corn and beans both, particularly beans, and so we'll see how that pans out. As far as the supply demand balance sheet on beans, they raised old crop carryout to 260 million bushel, lowered that export demand, and when you throw all that into the new crop carryout, it was 245 million bushels. That was down 55 million bushels from last month. They continue to say demand's going to be a little bit slow there. So we got those numbers priced in. And now the key is to see how we finish off the growing season here and see if that demand picks up as we go into this fall. The big thing technically was kind of ugly today. As I mentioned, we saw the computers read those positive yield numbers and production numbers, and up we went. For the week, corn closed down 10 cents, soybeans down 25 cents on the Novembers, and the wheat down 6 cents. Technically, what happened is we created an outside down day. The corn finished quite a bit below yesterday's lows. In fact, this week's low, new weekly low close. The soybeans had an outside down day, but they were able to hang in there and close above Thursday's close there. So technically, it's really discouraging. We did not hold in there. Weather-wise, we closed lower on ideas that we'll see improved weather here to finish off the crop. Maybe this yield estimate is probably the lowest we'll see here. Maybe see the yield grow a little bit in the September report. I think there's some key private crop tours taking place out there that's going to give the trade some visual observations as they pull back shucks and try to count some pods.
And as you mentioned, those crop tours continuing right now, and we're getting more of that data and information flowing in each and every day. Curt, big report day, all eyes on the grains, of course. How did the livestock side of the markets react?
It held in there. The trend continues to be sideways. When you look at the supply-demand report on the meat side of the ledger in through here, we're looking at a little bit of a tighter supply side on cattle and pork both. Not much on the beef side. It's going to depend on heifer retention as we move into this next year. As far as prices go, they upped the steer price to 178.5 versus 175.3. Into next year at 186 versus 184. So they're kind of optimistic prices. Same thing on the hogs. They put the hog price here for this current year at 62.2. Next year it's up to 65. So there's some optimism. We can see some higher prices as we move forward in here. The key is demand. When you look at the per capita consumption, it's kind of iffy in through here. Also, too, on the export side, with issues with China, we need to keep demand strong. Cattle finished lower on the day. They finished $1.75 lower in October on the weekly chart. Been sideways in through here. Technically, we look a little toppy. Hogs, they finished up on the day, but they were down $1.75 for the week on the October contract. They had a daily price reversal up, so maybe we can develop a little bit of a trading range. But overall, the meat sector just been sideways here for the last 2 months.
He is Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net, our guest here today. Curt, what's the best way for our listeners to get in touch for more great marketing information?
1-800-779-1515. That's our number here locally. But to go to agmarket.net and click on Intel. And particularly, you might want to do it this weekend because the ag market team's putting together a video to recap all these numbers I went through. So there's a lot of numbers to digest, and they'll give a little bit of our price outlook there. So you might want to tap into that and kind of get a little bit more detail.
A lot of information to keep track of here today. Curt, we're glad you came along on the show to help us out as we try to figure everything out from the WASDE report today. Curt, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll speak again soon.
You too. Enjoy that corn dog and lemonade there.
And that was Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net with our closing market analysis. Thank you to Curt. Let's turn our attention now to the closing numbers, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. September corn is down 8 3/4 at 474 1/2. New crop December corn down 9 even at 487 1/4. September soybeans down 14 3/4 at 1337 1/4. New crop November soybeans down 10 3/4 at 1307 1/2. September soybean meal down $4.70 at 410.30. September soybean oil down 5 cents at 64.13. Chicago wheat down 10 even at 653 3/4. Minneapolis wheat down 3 even at 830 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat down 13 1/4 at 766 even. December oats up 3 cents at 437 even. On the Merc, August live cattle down 72 cents at 180.37. August feeder cattle down 25 cents at 247.75. August lean hogs up 3 cents at 102.10. August pork cutout up 67 cents at 111.10. Class 3 milk up 7 cents at 17.32. And that's been a check of the ag market recap here on Ag Matters PM. It's time now to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, I will be joined by Wilbur Kehrli. He is the father of one of the co-owners of SasQuatch, the 2023 Iowa State Fair Big Boar.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Hello and welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. For today's featured discussion, I'm joined by Wilbur Kehrli. He's one of the co-owners of the 2023 Iowa State Fair Big Boar named SasQuatch. SasQuatch tipped the scales at 1,012 pounds to win the Big Boar competition at this year's fair. Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm here today with Wilbur Kehrli. Wilbur is from Northeast Iowa, and he is the father of the owner of the Big Boar, Ken Kehrli. Wilbur, could you tell us a little bit of the background about your family and who all's here today supporting the pig that is the Big Boar champion, and that is SasQuatch?
Well, it's kind of amazing, I guess. Between my grandfather, father, and myself, Ken, and his children, we've got about 5 generations in the hog business. And we've always loved 4-H and FFA and liked quality livestock.
And tell me, Wilbur, how far back then does that go? What was the first year that your family started raising hogs?
That goes back a long ways. I would say back into late 1920s, early 30s.
So you're here today with Ken, your son, the owner of the Big Boar SasQuatch. And SasQuatch here today, I thought was pretty impressive. Went right into the show ring and was strutting his stuff a little bit. You don't always expect to see that necessarily from a Big Boar. What did you think of SasQuatch here today?
Well, it was kind of impressive because when he got in the champion's pin, he lifted it up about 3 foot off of the floor. And he is athletic and kind of a replica of what the good hogs in the business should be.
And that's a great point, Wilbur. You don't necessarily see a Big Boar all the time that's as mobile as SasQuatch, as athletic. And then, like you said, he was able to show off that athleticism, lifted up that pen in the air with his snout.
Right. He's got a good attitude. He's aggressive. He's kind of the kind that, back in the day, it was root hog or die to survive, and he's kind of carried that attitude to our modern society.
All right, so now the most important thing, and the reason that everybody tunes in when they want to hear about the Big Boar, Wilbur, what was the feeding regimen for this Big Boar? What did it take to make him such a big animal?
He's just been active his whole life in our breeding program. He's had corn, oats, soybean meal, vitamins and minerals, and then like we talked about, the 2 magic ingredients that we're lacking so much today and so much of our industry, and that's fresh air and sunshine.
And just to expand on that, Wilbur, you don't normally have an animal these days that's going to get a lot of fresh air and sunshine on a day-to-day basis. So that was maybe part of the special recipe.
I firmly believe it. We have all kinds of medications, all kinds of technology, but we still need a little common sense in all of our programs.
Okay, is there anything else you would like to say about this entire process and what it took to get here and to see SasQuatch today take home the prize as the Big Boar?
No, I was just reminiscing a little bit. First time I was at State Fair was in 1952 with Iowa's heaviest 18 pig litter, and I've had the fair bug ever since, and it's just kind of intriguing. The Iowa State Fair is something that we should be extremely proud of.
Well, Wilbur, we're so glad that you were able to help grow this industry and help bring these awesome animals to the Iowa State Fair, so we really appreciate it, and it was cool to see you out there in the ring today helping out your son. And again, congratulations to SasQuatch.
Hey, I appreciate it, and a great fair in 2023.
He is Wilbur, our guest here today, helping out with SasQuatch. Thanks. And our thanks to Wilbur Kehrli for that very interesting discussion here at the Swine Barn at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. Let's turn our attention now to the Ag Weather Outlook. A beautiful day today here at the Iowa State Fair. As you can see, the sun is high overhead. Lots of sunshine, not too much cloud cover, but still just a very beautiful day overall. And that's going to kind of be the theme throughout the rest of the day. There are some very isolated chances for rain around the state of Iowa, so make sure and check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate to find out about any potential rain in your area. Tonight, mostly a quiet evening, and then tomorrow going to be much of the same with a lot of sunshine around the state. So let's turn now to the National Weather Service and what's in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, mostly sunny skies with isolated chances for rain showers today. High temperatures expected in the 89 to 90 range. Tonight, slight chances for thunderstorms, then mostly clear skies with temperatures ranging 59 to 67. And looking at tomorrow's forecast, mostly sunny skies with high temperatures in a range of 85 to 89. And now as we take a look at our affiliate weather map for Saturday, Cherokee mostly sunny and 85, Shenandoah an expected high of 86, Des Moines mostly sunny with 89 degrees, the expected high for Saturday, Albia mostly sunny skies and 88, clear skies and sunny in Waterloo and 89 the expected high, Clinton mostly sunny skies with an expected high of 87. And that's going to do it for our Ag Weather Outlook. That also brings us to the end of another episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our daily content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also, don't forget to find all of our video content on our YouTube channel. And while you're there, you can also subscribe. Click on that notification bell as well. That will let you know whenever we have any new videos available for you to view. And also, don't forget our free twice daily market podcast, which are available on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa State Fair Fairgrounds, for Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman, I'm Mark Magnuson. Thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.